Welcome to Nerd Barrage Builds. I'm Bonita. That's Jennifer. What are we making today, Jen?
We are making oogly sweaters.
Oogly sweaters, yay!
So the oogly sweater I'm going to be making is a Nightmare Before Christmas theme. And it's the part where the snake is around the silver Christmas tree and starts to eat it. Yeah,
of course.
That's what I'm making.
Very cool. I am going to be making a Death Star destroying Alderaan sweater with a Christmas spin. You know. Here's what you're gonna need. A 5-inch styrofoam ball cut in half, smooth finish, sequins, jingle bells, and other baubles, green, red, and gold glitter, Christmas beads, paint, and paint brushes, hot glue gun, or fabric glue if you prefer, and a plain black sweater. So you're going to score the styrofoam ball first. You want to go in about an inch, and once you've gone all the way around, you should be able to twist it and break it apart. Draw out your crater. You want it to be maybe an inch in diameter. Then you're going to cut it out and just go in with your knife at an angle. Next, sand the whole thing down to make it nice and smooth. Make sure that the bottom of it is flat so that it lays nicely on your sweater. Then you're going to cover it using your smooth finish and just follow the instructions on the back. Then you're going to paint the entire thing black. This is going to be a nice effect in case the sequins don't cover every little bit. Damn. I suggest using a paintbrush to hold your Death Star while you paint it. Once everything is nice and black, do a little bit of Mod Podge at a time and go in sections. Lay your sequins down one at a time. It's very time consuming. For this, I'm just going to draw the details onto my Death Star using a black fabric paint, but you can use any paint that you'd like. I highly recommend having some reference photos handy, but it's fairly simple. And voila! Your Death Star is done. This was the most fun. You're going to take about 2 parts white acrylic paint, 1 part water, wet your brush, and then flick it all over the entire sweater. You'll get this nice star-like effect. It's very messy, so be careful. In some of the more blank spaces, I'm going to add starbursts and just paint them on. Now to map out Alderaan. I just went ahead and made an outline in white so that I knew what kind of space I wanted to work with. Starting with a white base is going to make all of your detail pop a little bit better against the black sweater. Once you've got that, go ahead and add a light yellow color over the whole thing to give it kind of a glow, and make sure that you feather the edges out nicely. After you're satisfied, go in with some orange streaks here and there, and then after that, add a little bit of red. This is going to give your painting dimension. Don't forget your circle of debris around the planet, and for this I used kind of an orangish red. I went over the whole thing with a little bit of a light white. This is going to give it that kind of hazy, space exploding effect. I recommend using reference photos as well. It's fun to watch the GIF on repeat over and over again. Because I went over the whole thing in white, I'm going to add back a little bit of that detail with the red, and then the yellow as well. And this is just going to kind of brighten up that middle. For the very epicenter, I want it to be white because that's where the most heat from the explosion is going to be. And then add in some little detail points in white as well. Once you're happy with the way it looks, add in Mod Podge all over the top, just a light layer, and you're going to dust the whole thing with the red glitter. Do not throw away this excess, it can be used later. I'm going to add in some more detailed lines, and I'm just going to use that extra glitter over again. And for a little bit of variety, this time I'm going to go in with the gold glitter. While Alderaan sets, go ahead and arrange your little baubles however you'd like. I found these adorable little wreaths at Hobby Lobby for fairly cheap, and the red pom-poms as well. Hot glue those down wherever you'd want them. Make sure that your Death Star is securely attached. It's kind of one of the biggest pieces. So for this next bit, I'm cutting out 7 small pieces of string for the outer ring of lasers, and then you want 1 long one to go from the center all the way to the heart of Alderaan. Too soon? Tie them together, and then you're gonna cover that SOB in Mod Podge. So much Mod Podge. It's gonna be so messy. It's nice if you have a friend who will dump on the glitter before your Mod Podge dries. Thanks, Matt. While that's setting up, I'm gonna go ahead and add jingle bells to the wrists of my sweater, and some pom-poms in between. Now add your beads. I found this reindeer and sleigh, Just glue that down, and I went ahead and added reins in hot glue. I'm going to cover that in glitter just to give it a fun effect. And because he's running from that explosion, how about some speed lines? And then for Alderaan, I'm going to add some lines of hot glue and add in the gold glitter just to make them more pronounced. Since I've got space, why not some tiny jingle bells at the neckline? Now that your laser is dry and crispy, go ahead and add it to your Death Star. This is very time consuming, but that's fine, it's worth it. You want to add each laser one by one and hold it until the hot glue is dried. You'll also need to cut some of these down to size a little bit since they're going at an angle. Make sure that you use plenty of hot glue when attaching this. You don't want it to come off. Because I had some extra space and so much unused glitter, I spelled out Merry Xmas in hot glue and covered it with all of that excess glitter that was there. And there you have it, your lovely Death of Alderaan sweater with a disco Death Star.
For my sweater, you'll need a can of black paint or two, silver tinsel, a yard or two of felt fabric, small red ornaments, a black beanie, a sweater, found this at Walmart, sewing supplies, painter's tape, small lights, these are optional, and some googly eyes. For the body, I measured 8 inches and folded my fabric over, doubling the body's diameter. Cutting about 2 yards of fabric, I unfolded the fabric and measured out where I would lay my tape for the black rings. Initially, I measured 3 inches and laid the tape just under the dots. I then measured 2.5 inches and laid the tape under the dots again. Keep measuring at 2.5 inches until your piece is covered. Next, we're going to paint. Yay! Safety first, and wear protective eyewear, because I didn't. I painted around 3 layers of black on each row. Once your rings have dried, fold the right sides together and pin. Using photos as reference, I freehanded a pattern for the head. Be sure the neck is the same width as the body, and leave yourself about a 1/2 inch for seam allowance. I made it a 1/2 inch because I need to give myself some wiggle room because I'm not the best sewer in the world. And you're going to trace out 4 uniform pieces of fabric. Once those are cut out, you're going to pin 2 pieces of fabric together, and you're going to start the sewing process. Sew the round edges together and leave the flat area open. You should end up with an identical upper and lower jaw, like this. Connect the 2 sides by pinning together the inner pieces and sew away. Once sewn, turn the head right side out. Start sewing your body with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure to leave a 6 inch opening in the middle of the body for your polyfill. Once you're near the end, taper your tail down to a point. Keep the body's seam at the bottom, and you'll stuff the head inside the body, making sure the right sides of both the body and head are inside. Pin the outer pieces of the fabric together and sew. Once the 2 pieces are sewn together, you're going to go back to your tail and you're going to cut off the extra fabric. And you're going to start pulling the snake out right side out, and make sure to pull it a little bit at a time or your hand will get stuck. Yay! And there's the snake. Alright, time to fill. Have a friend help you with this part because it'll make it go by so much faster. And make sure to not put too much stuffing in the snake because you want to make sure you're able to still mold it around your body when you sew it on. Once you have a sufficient amount of fill, it's time to sew the opening shut. Time to glue on the googly eyes with some hot glue. Insert the beanie into the mouth, and then tack in multiple spots to secure the hat in place. time to hot glue your tinsel on. And all I did was made a random pattern. You can glue your tinsel on any way you'd like. You don't have to do it the way I did. Alright, next thing I did was that I sewed on the red ornaments in random areas. Or you can hot glue them in place. It's up to you. I added some Velcro pieces to the mouth so I was able to secure it around my face and so the hat could stay on because the snake is a little heavy. So have a friend help you sew the snake onto the sweater while you hold the snake in place. And voila! Your Nightmare Before Christmas sweater. And what I did to the beanie is that I actually glued on the tinsel onto the hat and I just glued on the bulbs. After that, I added on the lights.
So there you have it. Here are our ugly sweaters, the death of Alderaan, and the snake from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh!
I certainly think they paid off in wow factor.
That's amazing. I love that laser. Look at that.
Well, make yours. Share them with us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere. Whatever you make or your favorite in general, you know. If you like us, don't forget to subscribe and share us with your nerdy friends.